I just came by to stir your soul up a bit. Put on your seatbelt. Get ready. This ride could have some turbulence.
Hey you guys, I'm Tabitha McNeil, and this is The Next Up, a creator's journey to success. And today's special guest, we have AhDream Smith, my sis from Papa. So, sis, tell us about yourself.
Well, where to start? You know, my name is AhDream. That is the government, I am currently in my second year of grad school at UNC Chapel Hill with Playmakers Reparatory Company. And woo child, grad school during a pandemic. Let's put a button in it. We're gonna come back to it. Originally from the Chicagoland area, but grew up in Memphis. And I consider myself a global citizen. I love traveling. I love storytelling. I love experiencing different cultures, and having the opportunity to really be given a structure on how to synthesize all those experiences through the Papa storytelling immersion has really been a gift. And plus I got to meet you. Bop.
So speaking of Papa is a 12-week immersion program by the amazing Larry Powell. And if you weren't in it, you missed it, okay? You missed so much. So I actually wanted to talk a little bit about that. With first, how did you start getting to know who Larry was, and how did you get into Papa? And second, how has that experience changed you as an actor?
Sure. I actually got introduced to Larry through X Mayo, who I think will be on the show later, or has already been, depending on the lineup.
Yeah.
And we met at UCB, which is an improv school out of New York. And I had went to support one of her shows, and she was like, "Girl, I'm about to go moderate this film by one of my homeboys from LA. You should come through." And I was like, "Okay." And it ended up being a multimedia interstitial film that Larry had produced with artists across the country. It was almost like he had the vision of a pre-COVID world, or like how do you still create work when you can't be in the same rooms and spaces with people. And the film was called Mother's Milk, and it was just so beautiful. And so that was the first time we actually met. And then, like Black folks in theater, that tends to be our church. We all went out to eat afterwards to further fellowship. And we vibed and kept in touch. And so then, on Instagram and Facebook, I saw Papa coming up, and it's so funny. I had been saying for years, I want to write more. Because even though some of my contemporaries who I went to high school with, and even who I'd met recently were, on the up and up and writing for film and television, I quickly realized that it's like, I can't rely on other people to tell my story. I can't rely on other people to tell the story of my grandma. There might be some similarities, but the minutia of those moments, only I can speak truth to. And so when the Papa opportunity came up, I was just like, yes, not only for the chance to really figure out what is my voice as a storyteller, but for the opportunity to be taught and led by a Black person. Because in the arts, that is just so rare. The only other opportunity that I had known that allowed for that was the Black Arts Institute, which is through Stella Adler. It's a summer program. They have a 5 to 6 weeks summer version, and then like a 1 week winter version. And those are the only two opportunities that I've ever known of. And because of, location and pricing, that can sometimes be an issue for people to participate in. So the fact that he was offering that caliber of instruction and at a price point that was accessible in the midst of a global pandemic, it was a no-brainer for me. And how did it change my life? I mean, you know, a lot of people say I've heard various people say, you have everything you need. You know, you are enough. Everything you need, you already have inside of you. And in this book called The Artist's Way, which, you know, me and you have been working through, there's a line that says, you know, we all come into this world as artists. You know, even as actors, you don't have to teach a kid how to be an actor. You know, they're just living, they're just being in the moment. And that's really what acting is. It's like, how do you be so present that other people believe in what you're believing in?
Mm-hmm.
And I through Papa, and like, I think hearing that, but then actually feeling it in my being and feeling heard and feeling seen, and then having the opportunity to take a written piece and then bring it to fruition in a visual context, I think just further affirmed for me that I actually do have everything I need. And I actually am already an artist. I had said I wanted to come to graduate school to be developed as an artist, not to just be developed as an actor. And that experience, you know, just confirmed that for me. I think saying that I wanted to be a writer, I thought that meant just playwriting, and you know, then that meant I needed to take a class, and there was a certain structure, and I needed to know all these rules. And yes, that is true. You know, that path is helpful. And you know, this process once again just confirmed that there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know, none of these paths to be an artist is linear. You know, there you could take 17 detours before you get to your destination, and that is also still valid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think just having that moment to really be with that truth, to experience it for myself, and to leave this experience with a community of people who I feel like I can trust, and who are just as excited about creating content um, that reflect people that look like me, and also like non-cliche stories. Like, I mean, I don't know how many more stories we need about Black trauma. I don't know how many more stories we need about gang violence. Like, can we just get some random, you know, futuristic sci-fi, you know, we on planet Sailor, can we get Sailor Moon meets Dragon Ball Z meets Octavia Butler meets, you know, can we just do something else, please?
Mm-hmm.
Can we just get a rom-com? You know, I fall in love, I'm a hopeless romantic, like, dang.
Right.
So you know, based on our conversations, our little Papa Post combos,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so excited for the future. And you know, Issa Rae said it, like, it's not always about building and connecting vertically. Like, the move and the wave is building and connecting horizontally. So like, as you rise, your tribe rises with you. And that's what I feel like I got at Papa. I got a tribe.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I think before I was telling you guys that, you know, last year I was about to quit. Like, I was just going to be like, all right, I'm going to just get a 9 to 5. I'm just live out my days, probably get a cat. Like, just really just quit and be like,
I'm not a cat.
leave my whole dog behind and feel like I'm just gone. Like, I was just gonna really live out and just be like, okay, that's it. I guess it wasn't for me. And when I came into Papa and met you guys, and you guys just surrounded me with just so much love and just such encouraging words, I was like, wait a minute, maybe this is for me. And again, like, I'm not a big person that shows my feelings. And here I am in a class having to show every layer of who I am. And with that, you guys nurtured me instead of, you know, being in other classes where it's just kind of like, yo, that's weird that she's showing all these emotions. But I think throughout the course of those 12 weeks, we've grown, not as just as actors, but as people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm super excited about all the things that we created. We ain't telling you nothing yet, but nothing yet. But I just feel like you said with Issa, you know, we are doing it horizontal. We're right here with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we have so many talented and amazing people who have connections beyond that what we've ever thought of sometimes. And it's just like, we can do this. And we're Black. and we can do this. And if we rise up together, we will be that change. So
for sure. I mean, and it even just reminds me of like, you know, elders who have gone before us, like Robert Townsend Jr. I mean, he made Meteor Man and the Five Heartbeats like off of credit cards, you know,
Sure
but it's
did.
like when the vision is so clear, it really doesn't matter what other people have to say because you can see how it's going to happen. And I think it's a testament to like perseverance, because even though, you know, the studio dropped them and all this other stuff and it didn't do as well as it was projected or whatever, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. It's still a classic amongst the Black community. Like people know them songs, people know the characters. And I think, you know, some people would have looked at that as a failure, but it's all about perspective, you know?
And I love that. And I think we're all people, especially women of color and just people of color in general, they're always looking for a tribe. And again, we found it. We found it here. We are, you know, going to be the next people who are going to bring those different options, because we've had them. We have those different options now. So I love that. My next question for you is, so tell us how you actually got into acting. What made you become an actor?
Well, you know, when I was a kid, me and my cousins used to, we used to play like with the boxes and like cut out a square. And we all were different news anchors from the different news stations. There was News Channel 3, ABC, and Fox 13, you know, in Memphis, child. And so we were all the different television anchors. And then, you know, TLC came out and there was 3 of us. So there was Chili, there was T-Boz, and there was Left Eye. Yeah, and just always being interested in, you know, utilizing our imagination. So for me, that was a moment when I realized I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be on, I don't think I knew I wanted to be an actor. I knew I wanted to be on television. And then I went to college and I thought I was gonna major in acting. And then I had some like dismissive white man crush my dream. And I believed it for 2 seconds. And then I graduated. Right before I graduated, I auditioned on a whim for Vagina Monologues and got a part in it. And it just reignited this spark that I had always had. But upon graduation, you know, I've always been a very practical person, very right brain, left brain. I don't know which one, whichever one is the practical side of the brain. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get a job. And so then I went into advertising because I was like, oh, I can still be creative and be practical. And then it was the summer of my internship. My internship was ending and BET was looking for a host. You know, Free had just left. I think AJ was on his way out and they were looking for hosts. And I was like, I'm audition. And like I called up one of my homeboys. I was in Boston at the time. He like helped me do a video. We like put some things together. And I didn't get it. I think it was rigged. That's a whole nother thing. Cause they already had Bow Wow, but I digress. But that was the moment for me that I realized maybe this corporate thing isn't for me. Like that was the first kind of unction. And then fast forward like 4 years later, and I was like, I felt one day, I remember being at work and I was looking outside a window and I was like, man, life is just passing me by. I'm in a box. And then when I leave work, I'm gonna go get in a box, which is the subway, to take me home to a box, which is my apartment. And if I die, they're gonna put me in a box 6 feet under. And it was just such a bleak, grim thought.
I was like, man.
I was like, ooh. And I was just like, you know, I really don't want to wake up at 40 being like, I wonder what coulda, shoulda, woulda. And I said, you know, I'm gonna give my little kid self a try. I'm a bet on myself. And so I played the 2 life game, the double agent life for a while. Like I was working 9 to 5 by day and taking classes in the evening. And then, you know, when I had that epiphany, I realized that I couldn't continue the double life. And I had I found out that Stella Adler had not Stella Adler. I had done an extra TV show, like I was an extra, and I was talking to one of the dancers, and I was like, "Where'd you learn to dance? Where'd you study?" And they were like, "BDC," and I was like, "Okay," and they were like, "Yeah, they have an intensive program and a scholarship," and I was like, "Word, boo doo boo doo boop," and I did some research, and then I had heard a lot of good things about William Esper, and I knew they had a summer intensive. I was like, boo doo boo doo boop. And then that same year I met X, and she was like, "You need to be here. You need to take class. You know, they got a scholarship for diversity." I was like, "Word?" Girl, I lined it up. And as soon as I got that first offer, I put in my 2 weeks notice. I said, "Y'all, I'm going back to school. I got to go." And that was really my leap of faith. You know, I was like, I don't know how it's all gonna pan out, but I know what I'm doing right now is not working. And I had been around enough artists at the time to kind of get like a mini blueprint. You know, different people might have been working in the restaurant industry or babysitting or doing all these little things. And that was enough for my logical brain to trust, like, okay, you got a hustler's mentality. We can make this work. And I jumped. And then I went to Australia for a minute. You know, went to the Olympics. You know, I was living my year of yes. That was the year of yes with Shonda Rhimes. I was out here in these streets.
Yeah.
And then I had this debt for a little bit. And I was like, ooh. And then I went back to corporate for like 8 months to, you know, wipe out that debt. And then I was like, all right, I'm done. But yeah, and then I like applied to grad school, and I didn't look back. I mean, I haven't looked back yet. And so that was my long-winded
No,
version
it was
of
fine.
saying that it's been a journey. You know, it's been this long, let's see, 2012. I mean, it's been an 8-year journey of me saying, like, I'm gonna bet on myself. And like taking these baby steps to prove to myself, okay, we really in it. And the universe and God has been bringing people into my life to just further affirm, okay, you're walking down the right path. You know, doors have been opening and I've just been walking through. And, you know, different family members and say like, oh, are you sure this is what you want? I mean, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, well, if this wasn't where I needed to be, you know, why did God open the door? You know, because my whole prayer is like, Lord, if it ain't for me, close the door, because you know I'm going to walk through.
Yep.
Don't even let me see it. Don't let me see it.
That is so funny, because I do the same thing. I'm like, look, you didn't tell me now before I call him and say, yeah, because you know me, because I'll be like, this is it, you know? And I love your story, because again, I felt the same way. It was just like, well, let me know, God, before I start doing this. If it's my purpose, let it come. And it was so crazy how I actually got into Larry's class. Is that I think I was like watching a live of his one day, and I just heard something say, go ahead and take the class. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know at the time that class would change me. Again, I didn't believe that I could do a short film. I didn't believe that I wasn't the strongest actor. I came from a very much of a theater background or a comedy background, and coming into acting and being more dramatic and letting those feelings kind of flow, I was just like, this is it. Like, now I'm going to another level of my craft with y'all. And I love that. It's great. Let's make me emotional.
Level up. Okay.
Woo, emotional. Anyway, so my next question for you is, you recently did an amazing short film called Happy Anniversary. Can you tell us about that process?
Ooh, child, listen.
Because I want to know.
I will. You know, so the monologue is so interesting, because the monologue really took on a life of its own. Like when I first wrote the first half, I was very frustrated with my peers and just the lack of urgency and the lack of people showing up for our education and how these institutions have been handling this pandemic, and being like, oh well, we're in COVID and so we don't know what we're doing, and just using that as a blanket excuse to not show up, not handle their business, not bring people in. It's like, my whole thing is like, I'm not expecting you to have the answers, but like, let's be in conversation. Like, I don't think anybody in history has ever been like, okay, I don't know, or whatever. It's just like, issues show up when people drop out of communication. Hey, Tabitha, I'm gonna be late to this call. Cool. Now you're not checking for me. You're not worried about where I am, because there's been communication versus I'm supposed to be here at 3:00. Now it's 3:05. It's 3:30. You ain't heard them. It's like, is she alive? Is she dead? Is she okay? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
That's where all the angst comes from. So it was first that, and then it became this deeper, like, y'all over here trying to have it like I'm the crazy one. But the expectation when you go to any institution is that it's a partnership. For 3 years, whether it's an undergraduate degree for 4 years, it's an associate degree for 2 years, it's a PhD for 5 to 6 to 7, 8 years, like, everybody enters that agreement under the context that I'm going to show up to class and you're going to teach me something. I'm going to conduct research over the summer and you're going to publish my papers. Like, it's a symbiotic relationship.
Right.
And so for the expectation to be, I'm still going to show up to class, whether it's in person or online, and you are not clear on how you're going to deliver the best education or hold up your end of the bargain, but you're expecting all this trust from me. I'm just like, something ain't adding up. And I thought, how befitting that all of this is happening as we're supposed to start school. Like, this would have been our 1-year anniversary, like, ooh, hey. And no, it has not been that at all. It's actually been the opposite. But the thing about that is, like, if you don't acknowledge a problem as the couple in any relationship, you can't even go to therapy, because you could, like, we ain't got no problem.
You're right.
So I mean, that's the backstory. That's the undergirth of the belly. And then I was just like,
wow,
okay.
That word.
Yeah.
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 Weak.
So I'm just like, okay, how do I put this in a visual? And I think my brain, hearing how our different classmates was like renting out spaces and all this other stuff, I was like, ooh, okay, Dream. Okay, I'm getting overwhelmed.
Mm.
And I was like, I need to get a wedding dress and all this other stuff. And it was great. It was really the conversation with you that was like, all right, let's bring it back. Let's take a deep breath in. What do we have access to? Like, if we not really about to do this, meet me at the altar in your white dress, you left me hanging. Like, how can we bring it back a couple notches? And so, the idea for like an anniversary dinner, and, the person just forgot, like, that's how much they weren't thinking about me or us. It's just like, you forgot that it was supposed to be our anniversary.
Yeah, and again, it was a beautiful piece, you guys. I was so hyped to be a part of it. It's like,
yes, have a cameo.
Little cameo. I loved it, and I loved just going through the process with you, because again, like back when you were saying in the beginning, everything you have is everything that you need, and everything that we had in our room was everything that we needed, literally. Even for my piece, I was like, who knew that these little hue lights that could change colors could change the mood of my scene? It's amazing. So
baller.
Thanks.
Y'all, if you ain't seen the gift, you need to take a peek. Okay.
I'm weak. But Yeah, it was just like, and when you had kind of the four screens of you putting on the makeup, and when my favorite part, and I will always tell you this, is at the ending, and you were just like, let me take this wine, child, and just walk out, like everything in my
Spoiler
head,
alert, the wine will be
spoiler.
taken.
Yeah, the wine is taken, but you'll see why. Okay? It was
Right.
warranted. She brought it. Anyway, she can take it back, but she's probably gonna drink it. But yeah, again, I love the anniversary, and it was just beautiful. So my next question for you is, what kind of advice can you give the younger generation of Black women right now during this time?
Say that one more time.
Yeah. What advice can you give to Black women right now during this time?
Take time for yourself
Hmm.
and rest. I think that hit for me this past weekend, like in my monologue for that piece, I'm saying I'm tired, and I have a very giving spirit. You know, I was very much brought up, you treat others as you want to be treated. And I
Yeah.
think the child version of me took that very literal.
Oh, I
So,
did.
you know, like if you come into my spot and you need a place to stay, I mean, I got an air mattress, but like if you want to sleep in my bed, it's queen size. You know, like ain't no thing to me, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to sleep on nobody else's floor. But I
Mhm.
understand comfort levels. You know what I'm saying? But like that's me. And so how I show up is like, if I have access to something, if I eat, you gonna eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether or not you ask for a piece of bread, but if I have it, I'm gonna give it. And I realized that the environment that I'm in, not everybody operates like that. And
Yeah.
so what that looks like is I'm putting out a lot of energy and not getting a return on my investment, even though my intention is not to necessarily get something back, but it's just like the fact that you would even think about it, you know. And there's this, you know, Black women, I think inherently, because, you know, people aren't necessarily checking for us, that means we got to be rooting for each other. You know, that means you trying to like root for your bae, keep him uplifted. You know, depending on your relationship with your parents or your mom, you trying to keep her uplifted. And depending on what field you in, you know, you up here trying to keep yourself uplifted because you probably the only one in the room. And so I realized that as I was saying those words and I was doing a self inventory check on my own end, I wasn't honoring that for myself. You know, like if I see a text message, if I see it, I'm going to respond. You know, and I get some people, they can see it. Okay, I'm going to come back to it. I will forget. If I don't write it down, it ain't real. If I don't answer it in a moment, you know, like, especially if you're not in my top 5 people. So if I see it, I respond. Emails as well. You know, emails, I like it. You can put a little flag. Okay, okay, I can sort by flags, you know. But and so I was just like, my phone is actually a distraction for me. It is a source that is pulling at me, that my brain is using as this coping mechanism to procrastinate and put off the things that are really important to me, because I'm allowing myself to be pulled and distracted by other people, or I'm, you know, and whether that's scrolling on Instagram to see, you know, what other people are doing, like, oh, that's some cool content, or like replying to people in the DMs because like, oh, that's fun, when I need to be studying lines. When I need to be over here practicing my piano because that's what I said I wanted to do. I'm gonna teach myself keyboard. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was realizing that I was still in some way open to allow other people to sift my energy, and I wasn't doing what I needed to do to protect it. So I sent a message to my people. I said, I'm going into hiding. Know that I'm okay, but my phone will be off, airplane mode off. Okay.
Yeah.
And I for 48 hours, and it was so it was so peaceful. It was so peaceful. I had to still get on Zoom for like a couple of rehearsals, which was really annoying because I have messages on my computer and I'm like, damn, they can still reach me.
Oh, me.
But you know, or like I had closed messages, but then somebody called me on FaceTime and then
Oh, yeah, that's what it gets
FaceTime
you.
came through and I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it was so beautiful and my body just slept. It just rested because it wasn't being like I wasn't on alert, like, oh, did my phone ring? Or oh, let me check my phone because maybe I got a message. When it's off, I'm like, there's no reason to check because no messages have come through, you know? And so I think that would be my biggest message. Like, take time for yourself because as we have seen time and time again, as we can see in the present day, Breonna Taylor still ain't got justice. Like, people can talk a big game, oh, Queen of Sheba, my sun, my moon, all that jazz. But at the end of the day, I'm a believer talk is cheap. Like, I want to check and I want you to take it to, I want you to accompany me to the bank and let's cash it. Yeah. Because a lot of folks out here writing checks that bounce. And, you know, I'm just, you know, I think actions speak louder than words on any given Sunday.
Get out. Just get out, AhDream. You said, say that one more time for the people in the back. Sometimes the check bounces. Yeah.
And I have not seen a lot of action. Listen. Yeah, them checks don't be bounced. They don't be cash. They be like, ooh, insufficient funds. I'm like, see, I can't. And be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. You didn't know you didn't have no money in the bank. Okay.
They didn't. They don't check their account. So my last few questions.
Meanwhile, we got to be over here with perfect credit.
We'll see. All of it. Oh no. You froze on me, sis.
Little lag, y'all. It's a little lag. But
there
you know,
we go.
Like, meanwhile, we got to be over here with perfect credit. Your checkbook be balanced. You know, you got to make sure you can.
We're good. You're back.
You gotta just love the Zoom debauchery.
I'm telling you. Only then. It's okay though. We here.
Okay. We here.
So yeah, continue.
No, I was just saying, like, we just have to be over prepared, extra prepared, and other people can get away with minimal preparation. And so that, I think that's just my biggest thing. That was like I got a little excited, but so Zoom decided to act up. But, you know, just take time for yourself and really sow into people that are gonna sow back into you.
And speaking to that, AhDream, you have sown into me because there will be times where I'll be like, I don't think I could do this, and you'll be like, Tabitha, it was great. I'm like, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, like we are our biggest critic. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you were a mediocre white man, would you still be like, oh, that wasn't good? These fools be out here applying to CEO jobs, president jobs, president of the country jobs. You know what I'm saying? No experience, but it's like, yeah, I'm great. Okay? Yeah. I'm great. Yeah. Even, I'm going back to the Artist Way. She was like, some of the people in the spotlight, they're not there because they're talented. They're there because they have the audacity to be like, I want that spot.
Right. And Larry has told us that plenty of times in class, and just being like, these people ain't good. You know, but you know, if you under Papa, you must be amazing, you know. But I have to remind myself of that I do have a tribe of people that I can go to when those thoughts are coming through my mind that, you know, this is not good or whatever. And like, you texted me yesterday, you're like, girl, are you entering your short film into the festival? And I was like, is it even festival worthy? You're like, yeah, girl. I was like, never even thought about that. Didn't even think that far, you know? So I love it.
I mean, I've been on this wave at least for the last 2.5 years. It's just like, you know what? I'm done telling myself no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw my name in all the hats. I'm gonna throw my shoe in all the bags. And what's the worst thing people gonna say? They're gonna say yes or no.
Yeah.
And if they say yes, hey. And if they say no, somebody else will say yes.
You're right.
No is just like a no. It's not a no forever. It's just like a not right now. Or maybe not for me. And that's cool.
See? It's not,
That's cool.
that should be on the shirt. Yeah. No, it's a not right now. Or it may not be for you. You know, protection.
Right. I'm not for everybody, okay? Everybody can't have this.
Yes.
This a delicacy, honey. This is delicacy.
Your body is a temple. Yes. Love that.
My body and my mind. You know,
Come
everybody can't rock with these creative thoughts.
Right. So I just want to ask you, as an actress, you know, what are some shows that you kind of see yourself on if you were available to audition for them?
Listen. If Lovecraft Country wanna, you know, bring
Call.
in.
Yeah.
Listen, now I will say, I'm not even gonna lie, because the people who know me know I don't like horror in real life.
I don't either.
Like, you know, but it's so funny because like 2 weeks ago, my brother called me. He was like, Dream, you watch Lovecraft Country? I'm like, yeah. She's like, that girl on there look just like you. And I'm like, no, for real. Wait, look, I'm about to pull the scene up. Look. He has me on FaceTime, like showing me that. I'm just like, yes, but I've seen that episode. He was like, man, me and TJ was over here just like, yo. And I'm like, and I've gotten that before, right. That I look like Journey. And I'm just like, Lord, okay, I receive it. Journey, yes. If you need a stunt double, honey.
Come on.
You need to stand in, call me. Girl, do you see these twists? We can press it out. We can put on a wig.
Right, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure their makeup specialist is Black. I'm just assuming they got all the right people, because you don't look like that without somebody Black. That's all.
Yeah. But that's a really good show. I just got put on to High Fidelity.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, so good. If they bring it back, when they bring it back, because somebody needs to bring it back. Executives, TV people, whoever's listening to this, y'all need to bring back High Fidelity. There is a following. That's good storytelling. And the music, come on, Questlove and Zoe. Y'all better executive produce, getting us culture, bringing in the Stevie, sprinkling in the Aretha, but giving us that international vibe. Come on. Yes. I was getting schooled. I was learning the things.
That's awesome. I definitely could see you in Lovecraft Country. For real. Like, definitely could see you in Lovecraft Country. I definitely want to be casted. That's because Jonathan Majors is my husband, but he don't know it, and I know the age is crazy. Age is crazy, but you know, we're going to be here. Be here with it. But yeah, I love that show.
Crazy how? Is he young? How old is he?
34? 32? 32. I'm going to say that. I think he's 32. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's 32 is the new 27.
Well, thank you for that.
I'm just saying.
Thank you. I'm just, you know, because I've seen him in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and I was just like, this man is going places. And not only that, he's just been casted in like 17 movies. I say 17, but it's more like 3, but like 17 movies. I was like, this dude is on the verge of just being the new Denzel in my mind. That's just me though.
Okay, Paula.
Look, he's got that potential to just be like, I don't care what y'all doing, like I'm gonna just get casted, because he's very private, but at the same time he's this amazing star that can tap into his emotions. I mean, doing The Five Bloods was one of my favorite movies, and I was like, see, now you're on that verge of like, you're only doing good things, you're only doing good shows, you're only doing good movies. He does great. He's amazing.
Yes.
But yeah,
what would you want to be casted in?
Lovecraft Country, American Horror Story, Black Mirror, anything. I don't know what.
Come on, Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. And I would love to be in a comedic show, kind of like Parks and Rec, The Office. I definitely see myself in that type of show. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't like anything horror, but I can watch American Horror Story. But I love it because I feel like they always have a job. You know, they like, I don't gotta worry. Anything Ryan Murphy does, other than The Politician, which isn't like my favorite one, but anything that he does, I'm just like, he creates this world that could go on forever. American Horror Story will never end.
I mean, yeah, there's always the different spin-off that can be spun off.
100%. Yeah, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but there's a new show on Netflix called Ratchet, and I think that connects to American Horror Story. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it does connect. But yeah, I would like to see myself on Pose. I don't know what I'll do.
Pose is so good. Oh my gosh.
Yes, love that. I think that's it. Or Euphoria. You know, I'm the age to do Euphoria.
Claim it.
Yeah, I definitely did see myself on Lovecraft Country, though.
Do you watch Queen Sono?
I don't. I should get into it, though.
Put it on the list. Now, it does take place in South Africa, but they could put me, you know, I don't know how that will work. I could be from the American agency to come help her solve an international case, because I'm not trying to appropriate. I'm not trying to put on like I'm from South Africa. Like respect is respect. But like, yeah, just call me in, agent, whatever you want me to be, and we could tag team. That's a good one. Yes. Another South African show on Netflix. I am blanking on the name. But it's like a high school Gossip Girl, but it's all Black. It is so good. I'm blanking.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. South Africa is coming from my edges, girl. They coming from my edges with these shows.
They are pulling out some amazing shows, though. They are. I can't think of the name, and I know I'm going to look on Netflix, and I'm just going to be like, this was it, and I'm going to text you.
And everybody Black. I'm just like, I guess I got to go to South Africa to be on an all-Black cast. Like, I guess.
That's it. That's really what it is. My last question for you is, where do you kind of see yourself in 5 years from now? You know, if Rona's gone, you have grown as an artist, where do you see yourself?
5 years. Okay. Well, let's take it year by year. In a year, I'll be done with school. Yes. Lord's will. Amen. And so then that leaves me 4 more years. I mean, 5 years from now, I'd love to have either been a part of an original production, like a play production, an off-Broadway an off-Broadway situation, almost like slave play. Like I had the opportunity to see it at the New York theater group and that cast, and then like all of them, if not one person, transferred to the Broadway show. And maybe that's a rarity, maybe it's not, but who says it's not for me? So something like that, or to have been cast in an awesome indie project that went to Sundance, similar to like The Last Black Man in San Francisco, or oversimplification of her beauty, or projects that are meaningful and telling like unique Black stories, and because there's such a breath of fresh air that opens up other opportunity. Listen, and if the Lord decides like we just gonna do a Lapita, like we're gonna graduate and we just gonna book a feature, listen, I'm open to that too. Or do a Yaya, graduate and book a show, and then book a feature. I'm cool with that too. I'm just open to, I just want to be open to whatever God has for me, because I know what's for me is already mine, And so just continuing to do the work that I need to do on my end, so that when it shows up, I'm ready. I can just walk through the door,
Yeah, and I think that's awesome, because we're already doing the work, as Larry would say. We're already doing the work by taking his class and continuing to produce work that's coming up soon. And, you know, in those 5 years, we will be ready. We will be ready in that year or a few months, depending on what's going to be happening, you know, for us.
Right.
But I believe that everyone in Papa is going somewhere. Mm-hmm. For real. Like, because we are that, you know, we are the first people to take the class. And I'm just like, we gotten the fullness of what it can become already, and we can only go up from here. So I love that all of us have become such good friends and being, you know, being encouraging to each other. Like, there's no sense of competition between us. Like, truly, we are a tribe, like Issa Rae, for real. I just believe that. So I thought that was my last question. It's not. So my next question is, you were recently, your resume is amazing, by the way. Let me just say that first of all. Okay. You have done some amazing work, sis. Amazing work. Can you just talk about some of your favorite things you've done throughout your resume? No.
Sure. You know, I think one of the most impactful productions or experiences that I have had thus far was working with Jeffrey Page, who at the time was in the process of getting his master's in directing at Columbia. Mm-hmm. And that room was just transformative, because at the same time I was in another rehearsal room for this other play, and the director was the complete opposite of that. Like, to be in a room where the actor was being given agency and like space to contribute to the dialogue and space to really shape how the story was going to be told was just like, as a young artist at that time, it was like, whoa. Yeah. And I remember him saying, he was just like, I'm not here to tell you what to do. He was like, if that was the case, I could have just hired puppets. I mean, Jeffrey's a little, you know, straight to, no sugar, just coating. Okay.
Yeah.
But he was just like, you know, I'm interested in your thoughts, and, you know, like, we are a team, and like, we as a group need to figure out how to move this story, how to take the audience on a journey. And I think because he previously had a career in, you know, as a choreographer and has worked on Broadway, like, his brain is very like multidimensional in thinking about music and physicality, and like how all of that comes together to take the to tell the story. And so we were up in here like making songs out of the text, out of Brett text, like the Caucasian chalk circle. We were turning those words into music, and I was just like, what this is some black boy magic. We was over there, girl, we was conjuring. It was wild. And it gave that room was so electrifying that the other room that I was in, I said, if this production ever goes up anywhere else, I want to direct it, because I saw what could be potential if that layer of trust and communication was given to the actors. And the Lord allowed it to happen. I did get to direct the piece, and the producer was like, have you ever directed before? And I was like, no. However, I've worked with a good director, and I know what a good room looks like, you know? And she trusted me, and like, the show went on for like 3 different iterations and sold out. And so for me, I'm just forever grateful to have had that experience, to know what that is, because it seems like that's something else that was really cool. I recently worked on, this time last year, a short film with a young lady out of Duke. And her mind, oh my gosh, similar to me and you, I'm like, build laterally, okay? I mean, just like her vision for things. She's not a film major, she's a philosophy major. But she is all about visual storytelling. And she had this idea. Duke has a production house, and you know, she put it together, and she's all about highlighting Black stories and Black narratives, and you know, has taken it upon herself to do internships in LA and in New York to further hone her craft. And it's just like out of her own self-pursuit. Ivy. And I'm what's next for her. So I mean, those are two those are really two transformative pieces of work I've had the opportunity to be a part of.
I love that. I think, and honestly, I always tell you that you're amazing, and you are. But I love that. And I definitely think that we can end there. For me, again, if y'all don't know about AhDream, at Chasing a Dream on Instagram, you guys should definitely follow her and her amazing work. I mean, again, her resume is impeccable.
Oh my!
Here we go. Big words.
Thank you.
Impeccable. She has an amazing website. You can go check her out there. And again, she's also, you know, creating with us, with Papa. And I really cannot wait for you guys to see what we have come up with. I don't want to say anything because I'm excited. So, AhDream, thank you so much for being on the show today. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are just a talent, okay? And I can't wait to see what's next for you within the just coming months. Seriously, like, you've already booked something. And I just can't wait to see how much you just grow as an actor. You're great.
Thank you, Tab. Listen, sis, I'm keeping my eyes on you too. Y'all don't sleep on Tabitha. Don't sleep. She bringing all these people on the show. Don't sleep, because Tabitha in the kitchen cooking, okay?
I really be trying, so.
No. Don't let her fool y'all with that be trying. She out here doing it. She doing the doggone thing, okay? I didn't read them treatments. I didn't read them pilot ideas. Don't sleep on Tabitha.
And you know, it's so funny. I read a meme that was like, if a creative person shows you a little bit of what they do, they must really care about you. And I was like, wow, I feel like I've only shown it to Papa people. And I'm like, I think I like y'all. Like, because usually I don't show it to anyone. Like, I just have it in a book and that's it. And it's just for me. When I feel like doing it, I will. And then when I kind of showed it to you and other people in Papa, I was like, I think I care. I was like, I actually like these people, because usually I'll just keep it by myself, but you guys are amazing. And
she got multiple show ideas, all these graphics, even for the Up Next on Tabitha. Tabitha did it, y'all. She ain't hired nobody. She did it.
Just me. So
don't sleep on her.
And don't sleep on AhDream, okay? We're gonna look back on this moment and we're gonna be with our little Emmy outfits. And we're gonna be like, girl, we said it.
Don't sleep on us. Don't be dreaming, because we awake, okay? Don't sleep.
We are woke. So again, you guys, I am Tabitha McNeil. This is AhDream Smith, and you are watching The Next Up. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.